Raymond Selkirk published many theories associated with our Roman history. Just one of those was what he called the five churches line. The idea being that these are all Roman sites. Some are known Roman sites, others suspected. This near straight line on the map connects the five churches: St Ebba's Church at Ebchester, St Andrew's Church at Stanley, the Church of St Mary and St Cuthbert at Chesterley Street, St Michael and All Angels Church, Horton-le-Spring, and St Andrew's Church in Dalton-le-Dale. The western point on the line is at Ebchester, where St Ebba's Church sits inside the Roman fort of Vindemora. Modern history books tell us that the Recondike stopped at the junction with Cades Roman Road, that is from Chesterley Street to Newcastle, at Reckenton. Old antiquarians, however, said that it continued to the west. Raymond Selkirk spotted that the alignment, if continued, led to this church at Stanley. In this slideshow, we are specifically interested in another alignment involving this church, the five churches line. There is a tradition of a Roman site at Stanley where the church is located at the top of a hill, but this site is on a line connecting two well-known Roman sites, Ebchester and Chesterley Street. The bridge remains at the Cong Burn near Chesterley Street are also on this line. The Church of St Mary and St Cuthbert in Chesterley Street was built on the site of the headquarters building inside the Roman fort of Concangis. This church is not on a known Roman site. It's a well-known Norman church but has Saxon elements, such as a reused Saxon gravestone in the west wall and elements of a Saxon doorway in the nave. Ray Selkirk did not have a lot to say about this church in his book On the Trail of the Legions, other than to mention the potential significance of it being on the five churches line. The Saxon elements make this site more interesting, not just because they extend the first known construction to an earlier date, but because of the known relationship between the then extant Roman sites and their deliberate reuse as Saxon churches. Some years before Ray died, he and I visited the area to look at some elements that you will see later in this slideshow, and he became more convinced of this being on a Roman site. Dalton-le-Dale, the most easterly point on the line. Some years ago, members of the Northern Archaeology Group discovered the Roman coast road running close to this church. This is an early church, known to be of Saxon origin. The previously known elements at Horton-le-Spring are the Saxon stone in the west wall, the Saxon elements in the door in the nave, the sarcophagus to the east, and earthworks on the Kirklee field to the east of the site. This is the sarcophagus that now stands outside the east wall of the church at Horton-le-Spring. It may have been unearthed when they were excavating to build the boiler house in the middle of the 19th century. Recent archaeological work inside the church has uncovered much greater evidence of the earlier history of this building.
Now, it started off as work to install a new heating system in a centuries-old church. It has turned into an archaeological mystery involving murdering raiders, Romans, and stretching way back to the Stone Age.
At first, experts were puzzled by huge boulders being dug up inside the parish church at Houghton-le-Spring. Now, as Andy Clues reports, they're certain they've uncovered a mini Stonehenge.
From the outside, there seems to be nothing remarkable about St Michael and All Angels, but inside, the most astonishing discoveries have been made. It now seems likely that people have been worshipping on this site for at least 4,000 years.
We found quite a number of these inside this church, which is rather puzzling. More than you'd expect, sort of naturally. And the conclusion is that they were brought onto this site by people who spent a lot of effort trundling large boulders around, probably in prehistory, to form some sort of ritual monument. A stone circle, whatever.
These blocks holding up the medieval pillars have special holes for lifting cut into them. It's proof they're reused Roman stones. But from where?
Somewhere very local. And they're very big blocks, so probably a major building, probably a public building. Now, we know we're on this site with prehistoric ritual, strong suggestions anyway, if not proof. So I think it's a good guess, it's still a guess, that it's a temple.
From supposition to facts, and an horrific event that happened nearly 700 years ago.
This is the south doorway of the early Norman church. You can see the worn threshold stone here of the door, of which many feet will have passed. Just inside the door there's extensive evidence of burning in the floor. And I know there's a danger of putting 2 and 2 together to make 5, but there is a record that the Black Douglas sacked Houghton in 1319, when one of the parishioners was killed falling from the belfry in the tower, fleeing from the Scots.
Unbelievable that we've been worshipping here for many years and not realising what was under the floor. The story which was there to be told.
Other finds include carved stonework and human bones, disturbed when St Michael's was drastically altered in the 1850s. There may be other, even more amazing finds deeper down, but they'll have to wait for a future generation of archaeologists. Andy Clues, ITV Tyne Tees, Houghton-le-Spring.
I can never get my head around how many years ago we're talking.
Yeah, I know. I had to look at the script there to be sure.
Incredible.
Unbelievable, yeah.